Hi, everyone, and welcome. I am Jacqueline Monet, brand consultant and strategic partner representing the National Fibromyalgia Association, or NFA for short. I am so honored to host today's special conversation as part of our ongoing efforts to amplify real stories from our own community. And today, I am joined by the incredibly powerful voice, Charles Johnson, who lives with both fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis. So his story is not only one of resilience, but a powerful example of how community connection and communication can truly shape the chronic illness journey. So today, we're diving into a conversation centered on the importance of maintaining relationships and the healthy impact of the community. Let's get started. Thank you so much for joining, Charles. I appreciate you for being here.
No, thank you for having me. It is my pleasure being here. Thank you so much. I love
Yes,
share
yes,
my
yes,
story. I
yes.
love talking.
Yes, thank you. And I guess we'll just say it now. Representing Cali, we both are Cali natives.
Absolutely. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Oakland, stand up, the Bay Area. I'm here.
Hey,
How y'all
we're
doing?
here.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me, LA, Southern California, but I got love for the Bay, big
Feel
love for
love.
the
You
Bay.
already know. Yeah, it's all Cali.
Ironically, though, we're both now based in Atlanta, Georgia metro, so that's funny. Didn't know that was gonna happen, but we're
No,
here.
couldn't see it, but it's here
Right.
now.
We're here, but thank you again so much for being here today. Your story is gonna change lives. I already know that. Big impact today, a part of this impact series. So, without further ado, let's jump into some of these questions. So, when you were first diagnosed with fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis, what did you remember most about that time? I know that well, first tell us how long ago it was and what were some of your initial thoughts?
Being diagnosed, man, it's about 8 years now.
Okay.
But a relief, like, to be honest, like, it took me about a year and a half to get any kind of diagnosis or any kind of real acknowledgement. So for a while, I felt crazy. Like, your body's hurting, you're always in pain, but there's not a bunch of redness and swelling, so you can't really explain like this hurts.
Mhm.
So, you don't have that. So it was really difficult. So when I finally gotten a diagnose, it was just such a relief that it was something, that it
Yes.
was something. Like, it wasn't me, and, it wasn't that I was tired because 'cause I'm lazy,
Right.
something like, it was something. Yeah, so it was a big relief for me.
Man, that's a good way to put that, and I'm sorry it took so long for them to figure it out. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
A year and a half sounds like a year and a half of torture, to be
It
honest.
really was. It was really painful. Like,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, it completely changes who you are too, right? Because it affects your
absolutely.
social life so
Yeah,
much. Everyone's like, "What happened to Charles? We knew him to be this, and now he's acting like this. Like, what's going on?" And you don't
absolutely.
have an answer
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the time.
the life of the party to nobody seeing me anywhere. So, yeah, it was like I was MIA.
I
Like,
get
yeah,
that.
people thought I was dying. Like, the word is he alive?
Right, you're like, "I'm here, but I don't know
Yeah,
what's going on."
yeah, I'm here. I don't know what's happening quite yet, but I'm
Yeah,
here. Yeah,
but you found relief once you got that answer, so
yeah.
that's
It was
what's
absolutely a
important.
relief that it was something, and it was just a start. I could something to hold on to, something I could start working from.
And when you found out your diagnosis, did they initially say both at the same time, or was it kind of one at a time? What was that
Well,
experience
kind of
like?
one at a time. I think the fibromyalgia was like the first diagnosis because they just really couldn't. They just checking on me. Man, I went to 6, 7 specialists. I was just going around getting poked and prodded and
Mhm.
really trying to figure it out. So it came first, and then later on, the rheumatoid showed, and I got that diagnosis maybe a couple months later.
Oh, okay. So your ANA test, was it initially showing different results from your blood work?
Yes, yes. Like,
Oh.
oh, yeah, everything was just kinda I also got bit by a bug, like, right before it a
Oh, so they were
confluence of events.
thinking
Yeah,
Crohn's,
so it was
is that
like
Crohn's
Lyme
or
disease,
Lyme,
it
yes.
was Lyme, and then you thought it was MS, and then, it was so many different
Oh my goodness.
so it was like, yeah, it was took a while, like I said, yeah, it took a while, like,
Well,
yeah,
also terrifying while you're sitting here waiting, anxious.
extremely. Yeah, like, yeah, it's just painful, it's
Mhm.
the fatigue, and you just don't know what to do, and there's just nowhere to turn, and it's hard to explain too to somebody who
Right.
hasn't been through it. If you don't know somebody who's gone through it, it just like most people just see it as like depression or something else. Like they just kind of just write it off. Like,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
like, yeah, man, like, no, it really hurts.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
had you heard those terms before you were diagnosed? Were you familiar with both of those
No,
diagnoses?
No,
Okay.
I was not. So after, being finally being diagnosed and then actually talking to my friends in my in my circle, I actually had a couple female friends who had fibromyalga. I
Really?
was able to talk about it. They were like, "Oh, I deal with that." So I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm not crazy." So like my community became like this beautiful circle of women who just knew what I was going through. Somebody who
Wow.
had rheumatoid arthritis and they had it in fibromyalgia. And another one had multiple sclerosis in fibromyalgia. So it was just like
Man.
after talking, I'm just like, oh no, this really touches people in my world. So like it really became a really positive thing. Once I was able to speak about it, have a diagnosis, and be able to talk to somebody and just talk to my circle and just man, just the outpouring of love and support like was amazing.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, you kind of hit that one of that those questions we have listed of what the role your community has played in your life. And so would you say that they've helped you figure out how to navigate the journey?
Absolutely. Just, talking to people who walk the same road as you really is helpful. Like, sometimes like explain to somebody for the fifth day in a row that you're really tired. If they ain't really been through it, they're kind of looking at you like, you might just be laying around, buddy. So, so to be able to
Right.
really talk to somebody who's been through it, and just be like, hey, I know what you're going through. Hey, I kind of drink this tea when I'm really tired. Just anything, just that any kind of encouragement, just somebody who understands. It was really helpful. Like it really changed my world. Like I was really like depressed. I was sad,
Mm,
know what was going on, and I couldn't trust my body. Like
right.
nothing makes you feel more insane than not being able to trust your body and know what's going on. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was really really life saving.
I remember feeling that feeling of like what my body is betraying me. You
Yeah,
know, I had this full life. I was doing all these things. I was used to being active. And then all of a sudden my body said, nope, and sat me down and I had no choice. And it really did take a mental toll. I mean, it still does.
yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
gonna
Still
lie.
does to this day. Yeah.
It still does. It's a battle. It's a mental battle the entire time. And it's interesting you brought up depression as well, because I know a lot of doctors try to couple depression with rheumatoid arthritis and also fibromyalgia. And so that could be a difficult journey in itself because, there's different types of medication they try to prescribe because of that and a
Right.
different experience somebody might have depending on what their form of resilience looks like, I
Right.
guess you can say. But it's good that you had that supportive community around you that of like-minded individuals that actually were going through the same experience that you could turn to. I definitely didn't have that experience. So I think that's admirable that you did. And were you in Georgia at the time or did
Yeah,
you live
I'm in
somewhere
Georgia.
else?
It happened, yeah.
Okay.
I'm all in Georgia, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I was in New York. So I had a whole different lifestyle
Oh,
when
wow, okay. Yeah,
right.
yeah. I'm like, yeah, you're probably doing some real moving around then, yeah.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I had just gotten back from a trip. I ran a half marathon. I was on the scene dating, doing all kind of stuff, and then life was like, we're just gonna stop it right here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
It really was a pause. Like, yeah, I was working, had this career, thought I would be going here, and I'm about to interview for this job, and all of a sudden, like, I'm just always tired. It hurts to stand up, it hurts to sit down, and it's
Yeah.
really noticeable. Like people at work can notice, and they were empathetic. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
it's just once
To an
again, it's
extent.
hard to explain. Yeah, like yeah, it looks like laziness. Like,
Mhm.
honestly, like, and I get it. That's why I was like, you really need community who understands. It really helps.
And also, we have to constantly tell ourselves, I'm not lazy. I'm not lazy. I'm not lazy.
Yeah,
Just because I can't fold those clothes over there right now doesn't mean it
absolutely.
won't get done. Yeah, that's one of the hardest parts of this for me.
Yeah.
Just the normal day-to-day house chores and just telling myself, I'm not lazy. It's gonna get done. Or figure out some language to ask for help because that was also hard too. You assume I'm in pain. People are supposed to know what I need and what kind of help I need. But I had never asked someone or one of my homegirls or someone, hey, can you come over and wash my dishes? That was something I never
Right.
had done before. But this
Yeah,
journey has
absolutely.
forced me to do so. You have to kind of get to that space, especially for those, I guess, who are watching who don't have a partner at home. That's a whole nother part of this that it's different when you are alone living by yourself exploring this because that was my experience. And then now I know you and I both have partners at home. So that's a different part of that as well. And so I guess I can ask part of the question of the community since we dabbled into there already of, making having that conversation with your partner of saying, okay, this is what my life is. This is my diagnosis. And you have a choice to stay or not, pretty much. Right. And luckily, we found partners who have stayed and who have signed up for this. And so I just wonder from a partner perspective, 'cause I know you talked about your friend community, and I'm just wondering from a partner perspective and family, what was that conversation like? What was that experience like and transition for you?
Yeah, that one is a difficult conversation to have, like,
Mhm.
once you realize what life's gonna be, and,
Right.
you're really asking somebody if they wanna stick around for it, and my relationship was early on in my diagnosis, so
Okay.
I wanted to give the out. Like, "Hey,
Mhm.
like, you didn't really sign up for this, you didn't know this was," so, like, I understand if somebody does want to leave that early on in the relationship.
Yeah.
But they stuck around and it's been really hard. Like, some days, like, weeks, I may not feel well or it's not going good.
Mhm.
I've changed nothing. And my diet can be the same. I can be taking all the same medicines, eating all the same fruits and vegetables, and it just goes bad. And it's
Mhm.
just nothing you can do. And it's hard to really ask people to stick around for it. But
Yeah.
it's if you can find someone who does understand. And what's important to remember is when you are up, you can get to it. Like there's
Mhm.
nothing folding clothes. If they don't get folded today or tomorrow, it'll be there the day after.
Right.
Get to it, and it's gonna be okay. And yeah, you just gotta just tell yourself that it will get done, and great motto to have. It will get done.
Yes. And I think also just for me knowing your partner and you knowing mine, I've been able to gain some more of their perspective of what it's like to be someone on the other side. 'Cause I know a lot of times we're so consumed with our own pain and what our own experience is like that we sometimes don't pause and think, okay, what is this actually like for them? What is this actually like to be the person who signed up for something like this? And for them to express what their feelings like or them not want to express it to us sometimes, right? Because they know we're in pain.
Yeah,
So it can be
absolutely.
a hard road or journey to navigate with somebody in life.
Absolutely. It can be. And actually listening to some of my friends talk about their relationships and just being on the outside, being able to look at them, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can see why your partner feels that way. Like
Mhm.
just even having it and being on just looking at the outside of somebody else's relationship, you can tell, like, yeah, some of these conversations are really difficult. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's really difficult to put on somebody because we also forget just because they're not diagnosed with fibromyalgia like us, they do have their own problems. And we still got,
Right.
respect that, and be sensitive to
Right.
that too as well.
And I think you are absolutely right. And I feel like I learned a whole new language because it was one thing when we were dating, and like you said, it wasn't my experience. I didn't have the diagnosis early on. I was already diagnosed when I met him. However, my pain was I was able to manage my pain better at that time. But it seems like as our relationship progressed, my pain and quality of life got worse. So it was kind
Yeah,
of reverse where I wasn't flaring up as much when we first met, but now it's a whole nother story, right? And so we've
right,
had to
right.
kind of fully reverse ourselves, and I've had to learn new language of how to ask help or how to even explain what my pain feels like. So when you're in those moments, I mean, how do you figure out what your pain feels like? What would you say?
Usually, I try to give a number rating when I'm dealing with my partner or people because that's the easiest thing for anybody at a scale. Understand a scale 1 to 10. Really simple for everybody. So, like
Mhm.
today, it's been like a 5. I've been, some hand pain, some feet pain, joint stuff, but I can get by. Like,
Right.
I may not get by fast, but I can get by. So today, a 5 for me, I can still function. So, but for somebody else, it may be, something different. But yeah.
Yeah, we have our days where I'm like, I was gonna say fitting, but that's for my folks who know how to play dominoes and 15, I'll be like, 15, I can't get out this bed. I can't get
Yeah.
down these stairs today. I need help with some food. Like,
Yeah,
sometimes it be like that.
absolutely. Yeah.
I was like that.
Hey, some days, yeah, you just gotta accept it. Just, on my days when it's low, I make up for it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
The days where I'm at like a 3, I'm like in the sunshine outside, I'm like, all right, let me get out this house. Let me do something.
yeah,
Of course,
absolutely.
pace myself because those are also the days we be like, oh, I'm gonna do all this stuff.
Right.
Catch up on everything.
Yeah.
And then we
Shut
flare it
yourself
up the
down
next
for another week, yeah. Overwork it.
exactly.
Shut yourself right back down. Absolutely.
Exactly. So I guess with that, how has this changed the way you approach your health, daily life, and like the people around you, I guess?
So in my daily life, I try to remain active even through the pain. I felt like getting better and just me feeling better I have to be active. So, like,
Mhm.
I love nature, so I'm constantly trying to find on any day I can, I go hike, I go take a walk in the woods, I go get
Oh,
lost somewhere.
that's nice.
And if I can't do that, I'll go to the gym, get on a treadmill, like, just keep moving. Like, even, whatever I can do. Like, if I can get 10 minutes, I'll do 10. If I can get an hour, I do an hour. If I can walk all day, I'll walk all day. But, just whenever I can get it, I just do it. So that's really been good for me and just really had to change like that.
Yeah, that's nice. And do you experience flare-ups from walking or not as much? What's your experience with that?
Early on, like I would experience like next day would be really
Mhm.
bad, but feel like the more I start walking, the less the flare ups bother me and the less flare
Mhm.
ups I have. So
Okay.
right now I'm walking like twice a week because I've not been doing, but once I can get it up to like 3 or 4 times a week, usually the flare ups go away and it's just me
Mhm.
just walking. So once I can get back into a rhythm, I'm usually pretty good for a while.
It's you brought up a really good point because a lot of times our first instinct is to think, I'm flared up, I need to be stationary, I need to rest, I need to stay home. But ironically, every time I get up and get moving and walk, the flare up it goes away or not away, away. It
Yeah,
lessens.
yeah, it goes down. It depends. Yeah, it usually
And
goes
it's
down.
like,
Like, yeah.
but I thought I was supposed to be chilling, but sometimes maybe the chilling and sitting and relaxing, you're in your mind thinking about it. It's just there hovering. So that's probably what's not helping. But I guess that's the catch 22 between having our diagnosis. It's like they want you to move, but moving makes you flare, but then moving helps your flare.
Yeah, absolutely. Like early on when my doctor was because he had it, he was trying to tell me, like, hey, I even know on bad days you're not gonna want to move.
Hmm.
Like you have to do something. I was just like, that doesn't make sense. Like I'm hurt. Like, why would I move around? But
Right.
absolutely right. Just like even
Hmm.
when it's super bad, you can't get out of bed, you can't do it. But
Yeah.
anytime I can do something, I'll get up, I'll sweep, I'll invent something in the house for me to do to get moving and be active. Or if not, just walk around my community, but like just get moving.
I
Yeah.
like that. That's a good idea. Just invent anything. So I think people think, oh, I need to have a fancy gym membership or I need to have a trainer and all these things. And it's like, no, you don't. It doesn't have to cost anything. You could just make something up at the house.
I've lost over 110 pounds, and it
Really?
started with me walking around in a circle in a cul-de-sac.
Wow. That's
Like, yeah, like, so
incredible.
I don't yeah, no excuse.
Yeah.
You
Right.
can do it. Like, I was just walking in circles.
And there's YouTube. I watched like
Yeah,
the
so
same
I was
stretching
listening to
video.
music. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was listening to walking in circle. It was fine. It was
Hmm.
the start.
Same here. So I try, yeah, yoga, stretching, or walking. Those are always my clutch three. I've been
Yeah,
trying to implement more, aquafit water movement in the pool because I know that's also a major key to get us off our joints. But it's not so easy to always get to the pool. It's a whole ordeal, especially for us with our hair type.
yeah,
It's hard
absolutely. Yeah, it's a little
to figure
stressfulness
that out.
going on here right there. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Press those roots
Like,
out.
exactly. So let me ask this. Can you share a moment when someone really showed up for you in a meaningful way that helped you with your healing or your mindset?
Man, so many people come to mind. Like it's
Well,
been it's
that's a good
been
thing.
journey. Like, yeah, like I could whew, man, there's so many. Well, first I have to mention Rashonda, my partner, who's really been there with me from literally from the beginning. Like I was literally perfectly healthy before, when we first met. So like just going through all this with her, she's made it a lot easier for me. I know it hasn't been easy for her, but definitely made it a lot easier for me. And she's really just been there. Like I was in a walker for a few months,
Wow.
on a cane after that for a few more months. So like, yeah, she's really just been supportive and just been there for me and just really held me accountable too. Like, you know what I'm saying, with my
Yeah,
diet and being getting up and like I say, pushing through, like she'll be there. Like, hey, you can't do this today. You did it yesterday. Let's, walk. And I really appreciate her. So like
I
she's
love that.
definitely been there. But so many people in my community have really been there for me. Like, helping me diet tips, just positive words of encouragement, just so many people have shown me so much love. So I really even my nurses, like they introduced me to different herbs and stuff, sour sap, like what I'm
Oh
saying? Like
yeah.
yeah, like so
That's a good one.
it's been a journey, but it's been a beautiful one.
That's a blessing. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I would I was hoping it wasn't gonna be the other thing. Well, like, I can't think of one person, but
Oh, no, I could think of six.
luckily
I could
that's
just
not
start
your
rattling. I don't even wanna use names 'cause I don't wanna leave nobody out, but,
right.
like, I can think of so many people who've come in and helped me, like, it's been like it's a real beautiful community has formed around such a bad thing for me. Like, it wasn't a great time, but, man, so many people have showed me so much love, and it's just been yeah, it's been really uplifting. Like, I can't lie, like, yeah, my body doesn't always feel good, but I always feel loved.
Well, it sounds like your community strengthened after your diagnosis. Like, it sounds like it got stronger.
Yeah, like we really got to talk about some real things. Like we really don't
Mhm.
talk about health, especially men, black men. We don't really talk about our health and stuff. So it really put me down this health journey. And, I got up to like 360 pounds, taking
Wow.
prednisone and doing all these steroids and
Oh my
trying to figure
goodness.
stuff out. So, and
Yes.
already, don't get me wrong, I was a big guy. I was like 290 before that, but, it took me up to about 360.
Right.
And so, like, then losing that weight and just learning about health, just really learning about all the different things and just wanting to talk to my friends about it, talk to people in my community about it because, it's just you get one body. You,
Mhm.
and if you don't take care of it, it breaks down. You can't really spare parts. Like we don't really do it like that. So I definitely want to start taking care of myself so that, I make it easier on my partner and my family because, I don't want to be a burden to anybody else. I want
Right.
everybody to be able to live their life and not be dependent on them, for my health.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. And so I guess we gotta shift it into those moments when you're in pain, right? And how you communicate. So I would say or let me ask, what kind of boundaries or communication strategies have you come up with to help maintain your healthy relationships while you're in pain? Because I know it can be really hard if you're experiencing certain symptoms that create irritability and, put you in certain mindsets, because I can attest to that. So, what are some boundaries you create or words you've learned with your communication and language that you developed over time?
So yeah, I've learned that pain can make you a really nasty person. And I
Mhm.
realize that about myself because I've never really been in chronic pain before. But
Mm.
after learning to deal with chronic pain, and luckily for me, my partner can kind of see it in me. But I just try to just honestly just be vocal about how I feel. Like, hey, today's not the day. Like, I can't do it today. Like, even with an argument, a critical conversation, not today. Like,
Mhm.
I'm already in pain. I'm already in an altered state. So it's just like, no need to further deteriorate our communication, our relationship, because I feel bad. So I
Right.
really try to just be forthright about how I feel. So when we can have critical communications at, better times than when I'm really in pain, because it's really hard, to talk and be sympathetic when you're really hurting. It's really
Yes.
hard to see some other side of the coin when you're in a lot of pain. Like you're really not trying to hear that day.
Mhm. Yeah,
No.
it took a while to get there for me as well. I'm trying to think back in the beginning. 'Cause I even when we first started dating, I remember the first time my partner Wes saw my first flare up and he was like, "What is this?" And I think he didn't really understand what fibromyalgia really was at the time. And it was a few months in, and we were hosting a Juneteenth party, and the party was booming. Everything was going great. We're playing Black Card Revoked. Everyone's having a good time. And then, boom, my flare up hit, my energy dropped, and I said, "I'm so sorry, everybody. I have to stop the party." Like, I literally had to end the party, and everybody has to go home. And he saw that and was like, "Whoa, what is wrong with you? Like, why would you do something like that?" But my friends knew. They knew what time it was. They were like, "Oh, no problem. Let's start cleaning. Let's help her. We out of here." And I was like, "I gotta lay down." And so that was a larger conversation we had to have when I had to explain to him, "I promise you I'm not being a I'll probably have to about this. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be rude, but I really have to shut things down, or I have to really pace myself when I'm hosting or at some kind of event. There's a time limit of how many hours we can pretty much withstand. But I also think I was only a few years in at that time, so that was on me also to know, okay, dang, I probably shouldn't have hosted something that's going to last beyond my threshold.
Right.
But now I know the stages where it's coming. The people around me say, "Did you take your medicine? You have your medicine?" Like, they know the windows because I learned to communicate that with them and say, "Make sure you hold me accountable so I can withstand these moments and have a good time." But also I know there's a flare up coming, so it's like it's a hard battle especially when you have those fatigue waves that hit out of nowhere. I mean, it's uncontrollable. There's nothing really you can do
Right.
about it, unfortunately. But you have to hope that the people around you understand. But I think expressing and actually saying, "I'm in pain right now," or "My energy just dropped," or "I'm irritable. So just give me a second." Like you said, not today. This is not today. Just
Yeah.
like you said, communicate. I think I don't think I was communicating enough yet in the beginning because I just didn't have the language yet.
Yeah.
But it takes time. Like it really
You
does.
know, you can't let communication feel like complaining. You got to remember that it's not complaining if you're actually having an open communication. Like,
Mm,
sometimes even for me, it feels like I'm complaining when I'm having multiple bad days in a row.
mhm,
I don't want to vocalize every day, like, hey, this hurts, this feels bad. And I gotta remember, like, you can't see it. So I have to tell you so that you understand
right.
and that I'm not complaining. I'm just notifying you of what's going on today. And
Mhm.
that's the way you have to look at it. Like you're giving a live updates. Think of it as live updates. That's what I do daily.
I do the same thing, but it's funny since I know we're opposite genders.
Yeah.
From my partner's perspective and the male perspective, he's solution oriented, right? So he's always like, "Are you just telling me this just to tell me, or do you need me to solve a problem? Like, is there something you need me to
Yeah.
fix right now?" And I
Right.
have to say, like, "No, I'm just verbalizing this so you know. I'm not asking you to help me with anything or solve something." And so I feel like that dynamic is interesting too, of us being on the opposite sides there. And so when you have those really tough days, right? When you are just like, it's not the day or days, right? Not just one.
Yeah.
How do you fight those moments of isolation or like stops, like not slipping all the way into isolation and finding a way to kind of stay socially connected to somebody?
Well, I try to reach out to my circle when I'm having like multiple bad days. That's when I try to reach out to somebody who knows what I'm going through.
Mhm.
And luckily, I have quite a few people I can reach out to. So I might just shoot somebody a text or they haven't heard from me. Luckily, they might check on me like, hey, I may just get a random text, how's your pain level? Like just,
Mhm.
randomly from anybody. So
Oh, that's
like,
big.
so yeah, it's pretty cool. So luckily I have people in around me that I can communicate with and just let them know what I'm going through so I don't feel completely isolated.
Yeah.
And also, you do have social media, although sometimes that gives me anxiety when I'm seeing everybody living their life and I'm just
Right.
stuck in bed on the couch. So that's when, once again, what we're talking about, community is so important. Having people that know what you're going through or have been what you're going through or going through what you're going through really helps. And so the more you can just really be open with your communication and really just be comfortable talking, like you get one life. Like, don't waste it being quiet and scared from living. Like, some days you're going to be able to live a little more than others, but we here. And, like, you got people who love you and
Mhm.
want to make sure that you just tell them what's going on. And that's all they really want to know.
Ugh, that's such you hit so many good points there 'cause isolation is usually the kind of the first thing you wanna do. Like, I'm trying to do something in the other parts of the house. Well, that's the days if I don't wake up immediately fired up, right? Sometimes it comes later in the day. But then I usually say, "Okay, gotta get in bed now. I have to retreat to bed," and I
Yeah.
try to do what I can from bed. But like you said, you get on social media, you see all these people flipping cartwheels and hitting all these hard sets in the gym, and you're like, "Dang,
Yeah.
I wish I can do this, and
Right.
I can't." You know?
Right. Right.
So it
Yeah.
can be hard, or you see a bunch of messages, and sometimes I'm just too emotionally drained, or I have too much fibro fog that I'm like, I can't even get to these people. I can't get back to people and text them. But instead of just ghosting everybody, I do at least try to say, I'm flared up today, or I'm having a hard day, or thanks, for checking in. I'll get back to you tomorrow, or something like that. But it can be hard because I remember in the beginning, or my early years in Atlanta, I should say, because New York, it wasn't like this. I would isolate. The days I was flared up, I just wouldn't want to talk to anybody, and people be like, hello, where you at? Like, what's going on with
Right.
you?
Right.
And I'd just be with the TV in bed or something, just
Yeah.
chilling trying to figure it out. And then, don't let you have a pet. Trying to figure out how to take care of your dog or your pet or your birds, like you guys
Bird. Yeah.
have. And you like, man, I really can barely even take care of myself today, but I got to take care of this other being, or folks on here also that are listening probably have children. And now that's a larger conversation that I know once you and I, if we get to that stage in life, that's going to be an interesting thing to sit down and say, hey, mommy or daddy has fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, and kids gonna be like, what's that? Let's go play at the
Right.
you
Right. Right.
know?
Right.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. But even when I do get around kids and I see them. You have to pace yourself when you're with your little nieces, nephews, cousins, or extended, because children. But it's interesting because they bring you life and they bring you joy when you're around them because of the innocence and you're excited. But then once you're done, you're like, "Dang, I'm about to be flared up after I leave this
Right, like,
kid."
yeah, you can feel it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So it can be hard. And when I was experiencing some grief, dealing with losing my grandma last year, actually, when I went back home to California for services, and actually what helped me during that time was being around a child. It was one of my best friend's nieces, Zoe, and just being around her helped me. I don't know, just mentally turn my mind all the way around. Just watching her play and her innocence and happiness of the simplest things, I
Yeah,
guess, just turning around for me. But of course, I was sitting on the couch watching her because there was only so much I could do. But you never know that it just, I guess, to say all that to say that isolation is never usually the key. There are moments we need time to ourselves, yes. But any way that you can have some form of community or someone or socialization around you, try your best because it always helps, especially because the biggest part of this is the mental health battle.
absolutely, yeah, it's the battle in your head, yeah, absolutely, like, yeah.
Mhm. So, for those who don't understand, can you explain a little bit more about what it's like from a mental health perspective having these diagnoses?
Yeah, so for me, it was really rough because before this, like I was essentially like the life of the party. I was always out and about, always had something going on. There was some party at my house, and then you go to, you can barely move around, and you're on a walker, you're on
Mm,
crutches, you're on a cane, and it's just like it was so life changing. Like
mhm.
everything changed like night and day. So it was really just a mental battle. It was just like, well, who am I?
And you guys, Charles
Not
is not a
out.
senior citizen. I just need y'all to know he's not a senior
No,
citizen.
I am not a senior citizen. Yeah. Yeah, so it's just like I'm used to being out and doing all this, engaging with everybody, and it's just like I can't do anything. And it's just like it almost like I lost my identity. Like I
Mm,
wasn't out drinking and hanging out and being the center of attention. It's like, well, then who am I? I
mhm,
almost just I really retreated to myself because now I couldn't be myself with all these people. Like I didn't really know who I was. So it was a
mhm,
real tough mental battle, like going through it. And then once again, the constant pain and just being in pain daily. And it just kind of wear on me, even if it's not a high level of pain. Just imagine being at a 5 for a month straight. Just your neck just
mm,
every day your neck hurt. You can't do nothing about it. And it's just it wears on you. And yeah, so mentally it is really tough. And in these days, that's why I really kind of fell in love with just walking and just the nature and just being out around nothing.
mhm.
Like just quietness. I can just hear birds and I'm perfectly fine with it. Just remember like I'm on this earth enjoying this life with all these other people and just a moment. This pain is a moment. These bad days are a moment and they don't mess up my whole life. And that's the mental part I have to take with me every day. Because every day is something different. Like, you can wake up and my hands are hurting one day, go back to bed, next day, my hands are perfectly fine, but my feet hurt. Right? So it's like, hold on, like, so yesterday I couldn't wash dishes or do nothing, but now I can't stand up the next day. So you can't be that hard on yourself. Like it's going to get better and you're going to get better and life is going to get better and you still haven't met all the people who are going to love you yet.
Hmm. Oh, that's a sound bite if I ever heard one, right there. That's a good
Like,
one.
yeah, you
Love
haven't.
that.
Like it's a whole world of people out there ready to love you and a whole community of people who understand and love you already. You just haven't met them yet.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's a perfect segue. Okay. Why do you believe organizations like the National Fibromyalgia Association or NFA are important for fostering awareness and community?
I mean, it's extremely important. Like, it has to be something that we talk about because before this, I heard of it casually, I think, on TV, but I had no real understanding of what fibromyalgia even was.
Mhm.
So to actually be diagnosed with it and then sit down and actually talk to other people who haven't experienced it, it's just like, oh, wow, this affects a lot of people. Like, why
Mhm.
isn't this more talked about? Like,
Right.
why am I just hearing about this? Like, I should have known my friends had it. Like, so I even felt bad because some of my friends in my circle had it and I didn't know.
Mm.
It's like I felt like that's something that I should have known. And it should be something that we talk about. So, when they were having those bad days and I thought they were just running away from me or just not hitting me back, they were just having flare-ups and I didn't know. So like it's been yeah, you really need this community because it's important. It saves lives. Like my depression got really bad, and had I not had like this diagnosis and been able to talk about this, I don't know if I'll be here.
Mm,
It and
and that's
just
real.
yeah, so many people I've been able to talk to since my diagnosis who going through the same thing and have it. And it builds this bond and this real like it's life saving and it's life changing. Like I really this is extremely important because even people like we talk about like cancer and all these other diseases that affect everybody's life, but I don't think people understand how this disease affects so many people. And
Millions.
people, yeah, and you probably got at work that you think are just lazy or something. And, maybe that day they just don't have it.
Mhm.
They
Or
have
they
to
just
show
afraid
up.
with all these excuses. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
ah,
absolutely. Yeah. So it's just like the more we talk about it, the more we normalize it. I think just that the easier to be for everybody and just allow us to be more open about it and just better quality of life for everybody.
oh, couldn't have said that any better, honestly. And I like you, I didn't really know. I knew one person that had it, but unfortunately, I didn't have the best perspective of fibromyalgia from that person. So when I first heard about it, I thought, "Oh, no, I'm gonna
Right,
be
right,
seen like this person."
right.
Because they kind of use it as a clutch, or a crutch, and it's hard to say it now on the other side 'cause that person was in a lot of pain, you know? But it just seemed like they brought it up constantly as a form of wanting to receive pity from folks. I don't know, like, it just became their identity, and they always brought it up somehow. And I'm like, I knew as soon as I got that diagnosis, I was like, "I'm not gonna wear it on my shoulder like that. I'm sure gonna talk about it. I'm gonna help tell people what's going on, but I'm not gonna, create this full identity of myself and use it as this clutch for make people feel pity for me." I don't know. I don't even know if I'm making sense, but
No, I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah, like and that's why often, like, I don't always talk about my pain level, like, every day. Like, if it's low, then it's low. Like,
Mhm.
I realize at this point in my life that I may be dealing with some kind of pain every day.
Right.
So vocalizing every single day, like, "Hey, my pinky hurts." Like, it's not the best form of communication, and let's just be honest from the outside looking in, nobody wants to be around that person.
Right.
Like, I vocalize my levels when they're worth being vocalized. Like,
Mhm.
a 3 is just a 3. That's just what life is some
Right.
days. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
talk about that with you. But if
Mhm.
it's a big deal, then yeah, absolutely, I'll share it. But like, yeah, some people I do feel like they can use it as a crutch. Like, I
Right.
can every day tell you that I'm in pain. Like, if that's what I want you to know, I can say it every single day. It really
Right.
doesn't help with anything, but it would be true though.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess to swing it back to a positive perspective, I wish I knew about the NFA. I wish it was more, I guess, on Front Street. Sorry, and for in the forefront for people to really understand and know that they're here. They're a support group. They have all these resources and all this information. I mean, they have a good doctor list. They have all kind of stuff. Like I wish I knew existed when I was struggling, trying to figure out what is this? Like, what am I going through? How many people have this? Is it something that could be cured? What are the latest, advances in medication or just in the field? I knew it exists. And I know at one point it was really booming in the 90s and 2000s. And this time is the time they're trying to, refresh, rebrand, and like reemerge. And so I'm happy I'm here to help them with that. But I feel like a lot more people need to know that the National Fibromyalgia Association exists and that it's here and that they don't only go when they first get diagnosed, right? But they continue to go back to see this is a resource that I can share from my community. If people have questions, look up things up for myself to stay informed. And also, like you said, just have a community of folks who know what my experience is like. And so I wish I knew about it early on, but I guess I don't know, I didn't take the time to research it completely. But it should also just be more recognized. Like there's a lot of organizations we just know right off the top of our head, right? Like Red Cross and other associations. Like this should be one of those. So Charles, I see you have some gear going on. I see King. I see wonderful logos on your clothes. Tell us what you're wearing, where we can find it, and is it your own brand? What's going on?
Absolutely. This is my brand. This is Melodum Clothing. You can find me on Instagram at Melodum Clothing, Facebook. You can also go to our website at www.melandom, melandom.co. Please come check us out. I'm trying to foster a community over there as well. Come join us. We're here for you. We
I
love you.
love that. I love that. I need to get some gear. What
That's
am I
some
doing?
love.
I need to
Oh,
get
come
some for
on.
myself.
Come
What's
on. We're gonna get you some. We're gonna get it into you.
on?
Yeah.
I gotta support.
All love over here. We love everybody.
Yes, so if you heard it first here. If you want to rock what Charles is wearing, you gotta go over to the website right now,
Tell
and
them
buy
told
something.
you. Check us out.
All right, thanks, Charles. So I guess to round this out, if you could leave one message of encouragement or reflection for others balancing chronic illness and also relationships and community, what would that be?
You're not alone. That you matter. How you feel matters. Your mental health matters, and that you're loved. It's not an easy journey, but it's a worthwhile journey. Like, you're going to find people who love you. You're going to find people who want to support you any way they can. And you just can't forget that those people are still out there, even on your bad days. Like I always say, you still haven't met all the people who are going to love you. Like, they're still out there. Like, and you have to continue to push forward, put your best foot forward on the days you can, do what you can. And the days you have to sit down, sit down. It's a battle. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a long one.
Yeah,
Like,
it
yeah,
really
some
is.
days you're not gonna win. Like, and that's okay. We'll double up the victories the next day.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Charles. Your honesty, your vulnerability, and your insight were incredible. And your story is exactly what people need to hear in this community. And I know it'll help others feel seen and understood and more connected. And so, for everyone watching, thank you so much for joining us. This conversation is part of the NFA's commitment to elevating real voices, real experiences, and real solutions like Charles and my own. And so please stay tuned for more stories of this impact series that we'll share with you, letting your other ones and folks in your community, and also folks who just need a little bit of encouragement today. And until
Man,
next time, I'm Jacqueline Monet. Take care, be well, and thank you so much, Charles.
appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.